break as we go into game number one. We've got Beastyqt spawning in on the southeast side of the map as the red, and we've got on the northwest side B playing as the Mongols. He's blue, and he's already rolling around with that Uvu and that Gur.
Yeah, this is something that we have seen from B in the previous set that he has played, just using that Gur for scouting. We'll have to see if that's going to be the same game plan, but you already noticed something pretty crucial for the strategy that he has played against Marine Lord even. That is the fact that the OVU is right next to the town center. And we have seen B using the double villager trading in that set simply because he was not going to spend his stone on anything else, so he decided to just use the double training out there on the villagers.
He definitely prefers this, obviously, the scouting opening with the Gur. I mean, he's got to know he's there by the tree line, what's over there right now, but looks like he's not going to be rolling out to the side here today with that, I don't imagine.
Yeah, for now, he's just scouting around.
I'm very curious to see if he does the double villagers on the Uvu again. I bet he is.
I think so, yes. I think otherwise he would have placed his town center differently. I think it's gonna be the same strategy. And obviously you could say, why would he try the same strategy that he did against Marine Lord, which by the way failed against Marine Lord, which by the way was also witnessed by Beastyqt? And the answer is that it's one thing that it failed once, but it doesn't mean it's always gonna fail, and it takes a good performance from the opponent to stop that strategy. Like, we've been praising Marine Lord for having such a good reaction to it. Beasty saw it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Beast is gonna have a perfect response to it.
Not to mention, at the very least, it could just get inside, like, it could be in his head that, like, hey, this could be what's happening here. Like, he's really got to try to plan for it and be ready, where maybe B's just going to play this super standard and maybe psych his opponent out a little bit. But of course, BC will scout, I'm sure.
Yeah, obviously the mental element is there for B, and that's one of the biggest advantages that he has as a competitive player. He often goes for crazy and scary strategies for his opponents, and when he's playing simply standard, he's getting the advantage of the fact that the opponents are afraid of those crazy strategies, and sometimes they just commit to something they shouldn't commit to simply because they are trying to prevent a potential crazy strategy from B.
Yep, and we see right now B just going around trying to pick up as much sheep as he can. I'm not sure where the majority of them spawn on this map, but looking at the berry spawn, it looks like they all decided to spawn to the southwest this time.
Together, once again, are the berries. This time around, they will have a less importance,
Not as many. Yeah, not as many as they were before, but yeah, they definitely like spawning on one side or the other.
Let's see, this is where things will get interesting with the upgrades. Improved forestry could be a thing. This is part of the B strategy if he goes for that. We're not seeing any of that just yet.
Yep, and we see that deer stones being built. I keep waiting to see maybe someone try to do trading in this map, but we have yet to see it yet.
Nah. I feel like you have to go ultra late game here to justify going for a trade. It's difficult to protect all those long walls early game.
Yep, and there we go. We got both players aging up. Where did he place his landmark there? It looks like it's behind his base, at least the southeast side.
Yeah, it looks like it's an academy even. In the meantime, B is going for wheelbarrow. So far, a fairly conventional opening, and indeed, Beast is going to open with an academy. That also answers our question when it comes to dropping the Barbican. He's going to wait to see what B exactly does before committing to a Barbican.
He's chopping already. That's an aggressive chopping position. I don't know. I think he's going to
double villagers.
Through.
Look at the bottom left.
Oh,
he's queuing the double wills.
It's
gonna be something very similar. He's pulling the wills. It is going to be for the same town center rush he tried against Marine Lord. The same town center rush that it worked against a Muslim, but it's also a strategy that Beasty is aware of. The question is whether Beast is going to scout this. He only has one scout.
He can still drop his Barbican mid. There's still time for that, right? He could do that. I don't know. I think we got to change B's Red Bull banner to just be a lumberjack.
Ooh, villagers being pulled to the left
That's going to be a Barbican on the side, I think. So it's going to be similar to what we saw.
Possibly on the hunt. It's actually very reminiscent to what Marine Lord did.
Yeah, very similar. An IP check, is this Marine Lord?
Yeah, it's the exact same scenario. Barbican on the side, Imperial Academy back at home. The only difference is that this time around, B is not going for improved forestry, something that he has gotten previously. Instead, he decided to go for wheelbarrow. So he changed his build a tiny bit here, possibly because he just wants to have that villager movement speed, just to have a slightly more efficient way to chop down those trees, I guess, because your time limiting factor might be the walking time to those trees, not even forestry.
But will he get the building movement speed? The scouts are looking. His scout sees it, so he knows what's coming. Doesn't have the gold he would need for that. Busted.
Yeah, Beasty sees it. Beasty sees it. Now, B is not going for forestry, so there's a possibility that this is just a standard conventional 2TC play here. Because it's not like he's deliberately chopping through, as you see. He's gathering wood instead of hardcore chopping down the trees, although he just readjusted his villagers. Beasty, on the other hand, going for some stone, could be towers even with arrow slits now that the Barbican is on the side.
Yep. There goes some villagers, so there's a second town center. Yeah, that could be just standard 2TC, but let's be real. There ain't a standard bone in B's body.
Second TC coming up. This
Oh,
is
look
where...
at the wall.
Oh, let's go.
He's ready today. Nope, you're not going to fool this one by him, but I don't know. Villagers can tear through those walls.
This could be a massive fail if B tries that same strategy. Beasty had something in his mind, and there it is. He's going to wall it off. Oh man, this could be something spectacular. It could be a spectacular fail from B, because he's gonna have no idea. He's gonna have absolutely no idea about that. Khan is just not moving up that direction.
I love how early that wall is there on the middle. You know, typically you would never think you need a wall mid here so early, but he is not going to take his chances.
Oh yeah, and the Khan is busy trying to snipe down the Imperial officer. Now, looks like B has no intention to town center rush. There's gonna be a third DC here. That's clear.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's just gonna be booming up, and I mean BC's kind of reacted a little bit with the wall segment. Now it's not a huge reaction, but I don't know. He might be thinking that same thing is coming, although his scout is sitting there. Yeah.
He's still going for double villagers though, which basically means he's not planning to make any military units in the near future. You wouldn't be wasting your stone on double villagers if you could go for double military. So.
What do you mean, Lidakor? Town centers are military units.
Oh, now he sees the walls, and he might need to completely change his game plan here. Beast is also curious what's going on, because he's like, okay, what are you doing, my friend?
Oh, you can see it. 3 TCB, back at it again. We got 3 Mongol TCs. You would think he was playing the Abbasid Dynasty with the rate that he does this. And we've got some Zugnim out on the field, but they're not going to do a whole lot right now. But he's preparing.
Yeah, but I feel like this is, to a certain extent, an overcommitment from Beasty. This is what we talked about, the mind game element, that he's so afraid of this push that he's committing a lot to stop this. He even lost his scout close to the town center of B, so he's without a vision right now, committing to the Jugenu to prevent the potential push here. But what if B indeed is just going for a triple town center? Boom.
It's the mind games, like we said. Like he expects that this is coming, and maybe B just won't. Maybe he'll just go for a full eco now. And BC is kind of, it wasn't completely blind. He scouted, but he's kind of blindly making an army against this.
There it is. It was a big fake out. The whole time it was a fake out. Beasty now is going to be stuck with a bunch of Chukadu that won't really be able to do much against defensive towers and so many town centers. Beasty preemptively reacted to that crazy strategy that B pulled off twice in the previous 2 rounds. But now, B is going to do something different. 3 TC play here will actually have a better eco than the Chinese with Song Dynasty.
I've never seen it, but there we go. Yes, we got more villagers right now for the Mongols. He's just now moved a lot of his villagers over to gold, so he's going to be working up towards the 3rd age, slapping down all of those pastures, so they are ready to go. Sheep coming out, so he is set up for the mid to late game. BC also kind of macroing for his age up right now as well.
Yeah, Khan got picked off here, so chat was quick to call a GG here, although no one knows whose side is going to be winning when chat calls the GG. Even a fortified outpost in the middle, Beasty was really scared about that.
Yep, he is ready to go. I think he's got enough of a reaction, just that alone. He's gone full eco behind this.
Yeah, that fake out actually worked to perfection over here for B. A bit of a concern for him is that his pasture setup was a little slow, so I wonder how sustainable his food eco is gonna be. But for now, he's leading by 7 villagers against a 2TC Song Dynasty Chinese player, which is nothing to be ashamed of.
Mm-hmm. So we've got Beastyqt aging up right now. He's got his we're getting a little a miming go. What's going on here? Stone. Oh, he's on 1 TC. I think that's what he's pointing out.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's been on 1 TC.
That explains it. Although in that case, B's second or like 3 TC versus 1 TC Song Dynasty and only being up by 10 villagers, that's a bit of disappointment.
Shows you how good it is. They did that with 1 TC, but he is up. And now we've got Beastyqt in the 3rd age. B not ready to age up quite yet. A lot of wood in the bank here. It almost looks like he could go for another town center, but maybe he'll use that for military production. Chop, chop, chop.
Yeah, here comes the choppity.
Back the other way.
Okay. What's the probability of B just going for a fast castle here, adding some lancers, and then doing the same thing that he did to Marine Lord? Like pulling the 2 TCs and going for a push with them?
At this point, I'm not sure he's going to pull TCs at all. I think he's going to just use them for villager production. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. But
I'm talking about B.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like once China's kind of set up and he's got army, he's got siege. Like that town center is less of a threat.
True. I wouldn't like him pulling the town centers, but then again, we're talking about B, so you never know if he's going to pull off something unexpected or something crazy.
He might not expect Beasty to chop through that southwest side as he's doing, although this Khan could spot it.
Oh yeah, the Khan is now moving up here. IO also supervising that lumber camp, so the wood income is gonna be very nice here for Beastyqt. Oh, Khan getting picked off once again by the
so he doesn't
Jugunu.
see it. Yeah, well, I mean, most people chop to the middle, so it's a little different. Yeah. And he will have nest of bees in his pocket going through that that valley once they make it.
Yeah. Looks like we're gonna have the step red out up. First Palace Guard now making it to the base of B. Getting some harassment done. No tech stores on those villagers, so some of them could fall to the Palace Guards. But for the time being, looks like B is going to maintain that eco lead. Minimal
He needs to move that Gur. He needs to get that Gur out of there. He's not dropping out. But yeah, his economy's looking amazing. It's not very normal to see Mongols sitting here up on villagers. And of course, they can afford being down on villagers because of that step red out.
But he's not even down. He's up by 20.
Mm-hmm. Be interesting to see what he does from here. Palace Guard causing problems out there on that new Uvu. But he's got some crossbows. Should be fine.
Yep.
Both players slowly chopping through.
Choppity. The question for Beasty is that he knows that it's 3 TCs from the opponent. So how is he going to respond to this? Because that eco lead is getting concerning here in the favor of B. Beasty can offset some of that with the relics. He's already bringing back 2 and there's a 3rd one on his side. Might even be able to yoink wall 5 actually. Look at the relic placement. That could be Beasty's way back into this relatively even eco scenario. Because he could easily offset that eco lead that B has with all the 5 relics.
Yeah, I mean, having a lot of gold would be nice.
Core is showing improved textiles to us, 100 HP villagers. No, like, I can tell you, if we're talking about B, a town center pull here is not impossible.
Love it.
Improved textiles, this is not to defend your villagers. Mangon was already being set up behind those trees. Uh-oh. B wants to do something crazy here, ladies and gents.
That extra HP ain't gonna matter when you see a nest of bees.
You're saying that, but B feels pretty confident in his, in quotation marks,
he's
army.
gonna get all the relics. He still hasn't moved it. No.
Oh, that's
that Gur is still sitting there.
Defensive key pike B or not even Marine Lord, Beastyqt rather. That's the player I was looking for. There's the chop through. He's yet to find that keep. The keep is gonna go up in time, and that is crucial for Beasty. He's probably gotten himself certain that that's the only direction that B could push from. Regardless of what he's pushing with, that's the best place to place your keep at.
The rocks come out of the woods. Oh! Mangonels,
Sprangle's getting an angle.
Taking hits.
The forest has been chopped through, which means that the Sprangles now have an angle to fire from, taking down one of the Mangonels. And it's going to be difficult to find a good angle with distraction trebuchets even. Multiple towers coming up here for Beastyqt as well. Pushing through here is going to be so difficult for B.
Yeah, I don't know about trying to go toe-to-toe with China in such a small space like this. You see him, look, let's get his siege sniped right now.
Yeah, tower for the time being is lit ablaze. You could possibly think about ground attacking with mangonels, by the way, or even Nest of Bees, and just try to blind fire on the spots where your opponent could be chopping trees to get some villager kills. We have seen instances of that before in not necessarily this map, but other maps like Dry Arabia even.
Yeah. Not to be confused with, I believe in AoE 2, you can flatten trees with mangonels, can't you?
Not with mangonels, just the upgraded versions, but yeah. Upgraded mangonels, onagers and siege onagers in AoE 2, they can chop trees.
Yeah. And we see Springolds taking shots. Both of these players just setting up. We got towers, Springolds. Some random units off to the side here. Oh, this could hurt those villagers.
Oh yeah, I love this probing move here from Beastyqt. He's just probing that gold mine, probing the hunt, see if there's anyone home, and the timing is gonna be perfect on that. Nest of Bees also getting ready to set up, and he's gonna have visions, so those can fire non-stop.
These villagers are getting slaughtered! All of them! Oh,
100
no!
HP, baby, fighting back the palace guards. Are they fighting? They're not even fighting.
No, he hasn't even noticed. He's just losing them. He had all of his gold vills. Those are all of his gold vills. Look at that. Oh my gosh.
Imagine if he didn't even have improved textiles. That would have been a bigger slaughter. He's still up by 30 bills, by the way. That's the ridiculous thing.
I know. Yeah, you can afford it. Maybe it was on purpose. He wanted the pop space, right? As his siege gets shredded.
Yeah, Sieging getting shredded over here. He's trying to add Springolds himself, but now the Nest of Bees open fire, and suddenly those Lumberjacks are no longer as safe as they used to be, while Beastyqt also secures both Sacred Site, putting B on a timer.
Yeah, he has to pull a lot of his army back to deal with this little raid. They're losing a lot of villagers. Yeah, Sacred Sites, as you mentioned. And 0 relics, right? Because Beasty got all 5 of them.
Yeah, that pretty much offsets all the villager deficit that he has had. And remember that soon B could struggle accessing wood. Also, Step It Up not being deployed over here. We'll have to see whether he spots this or not, because right now he's too busy in the middle. When you have such a siege versus siege fight, so many Springolds, you have to focus down each of those individually. You might not even notice that your eco is a train wreck because you're so focused on the micro itself.
Well, and it kind of seems like I feel like his go-to strat on this map was to do the stuff we saw in our previous version of this, right? To play the really cheesy, and he did the psych out here, right? He went for a boom behind this, but now you've done what? You've psyched out China into a late game battle, which I don't know if that's a good spot to be in.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, that's for sure. Springgold numbers looking much better now for Beastyqt. He's up to 9. Also getting some Nest of Bees out to the battlefield. Crossbow numbers and overall the army numbers are looking better and better for B though, and this is something that Beast still has to respect, especially with the ram push coming in from the left side.
Yep, and Springolds, how many Springolds do you have there? 9 Springolds pushing through right now.
Oh yeah, 9 Springolds getting closer and closer. Still some towers out there for B, but he doesn't have a response to this right now, and it's not possible for him to just swarm those Springolds with a bunch of men-at-arms or something, because those choke points are so narrow. But he does intercept a bunch of villagers on the left side, will be able to decap the Sacred Site, also get rid of the Barbican.
I think those are the first rams we've actually seen today.
Wait, those are Lumberjacks, right? That might have been a misclick by Beasty. I think he sent them to just do lumberjacking, and they are walking all the way around because he might have clicked the wrong tree. Could be a pathfinding issue even. But those villagers, they're heading the wrong way.
That's totally what happened. Oh, you hate to see it. Hey, this isn't... You know what I did the other day? Did you know that Control-Shift-V will select every villager, and it is right next to Control-Shift-C, which will select all of your military, which I use frequently. And I accidentally sent all of my villagers into battle in a game that I was winning the other day, and it was quite frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, you know, pressing the wrong key combinations can have some bad effects. Like, for example, playing Alt F4 while playing a tournament game also doesn't help you.
Yeah. Those villagers are going to get hunted down right now.
They thought they can get away with this stone mining, but that's not gonna be a thing. And Beast's eco, it's not looking that shiny. It's actually very reminiscent of the game that we have seen on Four Lakes, where we did have a great fishing eco for one player, but basically no villagers. It's actually very reminiscent of that. 5 relics, sure thing, it's great, you have a ton of gold, but you don't have any other resources because all your villagers are getting slain.
I'm actually half wondering, like, if B just went for like an entirely horseman comp, because it's just all Springolds. Just see, like, most of Beastyqt's army is Springolds.
Beast is getting his villagers slain on the left side, a little slow to react to this one. He's probably too focused on the middle. Trying to tower rush at the back even, but those villagers getting cleaned up. And look at the villager count. Now look at the overall population even. 200 pop for B, going into Imperial. Whereas on the other side, Beastyqt, his population is mostly just Springolds, to be honest. Not a lot of villagers, not a lot of standing army on the field.
Yeah, I feel like that villager donation was probably just a step in the throwing direction, as now BC's getting a bit of a trouble spot as B seems to be breaking out. It seemed for a minute there that BC was just going to push it right up mid so easily, although those trebuchets getting easily sniped.
That's ugly. He was trying to target the castle probably, but he didn't have line of sight, so the trebuchets tried to get into line of sight, and then they just went into that narrow choke point to be sniped down. But now, B is up to Imperial, and he's going to have improved siege engineering, well, not even siege engineering, but roller shutter triggers, and that should be able to wipe out Beastie's Springolds from a longer distance.
Yeah. Got a little bit of map control. He's got those rams coming through. Yeah, he hasn't researched it yet. He does have the resources for it. Okay, so trees are almost chopped through there on the right side. Trying to go around those keeps, I guess.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be a flanking maneuver. Makes a lot of sense if you think about that. You have overwhelming numbers, so you much prefer to fight an open field battle rather than fighting in a choke point, because if there is any place where Beasty can hold off this army, it would be in a narrow choke point. So you want an open field engagement. So Beasty is going to face an attack coming from the left side, only to be slaughtered by the nest of bees. At least the first wave does.
Yeah. Yeah. Crossbows aren't very good against nest of bees. So Beastyqt, this is more like Siegey Cutie here. He's got nothing but siege and Imperial officials. What do you think his plan is from here? How's he gonna change this? Is he gonna change up his unit comp, or is he just gonna stay with siege?
It's a tough one. He has to slow this game down, get to a reasonable villager count. He has 5 relics still, and he loves to drag out games. I think it's all about buffering up those attacks and maybe expanding towards the back. He still might have some forests to work with. Try to get to like 80, 85 villagers, and he needs to get an Imperial Age timing for himself, and that's exactly what he's working towards. Once he's up to Imp, I think he could still be fine. Range would still be an advantage for B once he gets improved roller shard triggers, but you would have the clock tower HP bonus on the other side, so kinda evens out.
Well, and BC does have over 4K gold in the bank right now, so can't forget about those relics. Right now, we've got a bit of a back and forth right now between the Springolds.
Yeah, that's a lot of Springolds out there. No range upgrade just yet for B. Getting quite a lot of his villagers slain in the crossfire even. Beastie getting some damage done over here.
Yeah, villagers obviously B still doing just fine in that department. These trebuchets going to be working on that keep. He's got plenty of stone in the bank, though, to repair.
Yeah, he's going to have to repair. He needs to buy time. That's not a stone wall. I think that could be the gatehouse. That's going to be for the gatehouse. A landmark that recently got a complete rework. Now the Great Wall Gatehouse is going to have a nest of bees emplacement on top of it.
Yeah, this will be fun. Fighting bees with bees is what's going on here. I like how it looks with just like no wall around it. So silly.
Yeah, it's
but this is an ideal location for a landmark like this, like right up the middle and a great choke point.
Yeah, it's a great position out there. He's also trying to sneak up a keep on the left side over here. Crossbow's villagers being pulled. Beastie is gonna be repelled over here. He's gonna have to cancel this one because it is not going up. Villagers at least getting away. That's the key thing here.
All I can say is I've seen Beastie back into a corner before and break out and amaze me. So, this is too early to call yet. It looks like B's in a great spot, but this is age 4 China we're talking about here.
Yeah, I feel like B needs to have like one decisive push from one direction. It doesn't matter which, but he needs to make a push happen. And I feel like one of the problems is that he simply doesn't have, like, human component to his army. He's heavily focused on trebuchets, heavily focused on springolds, and he would benefit a lot more from just having 25-30 men-at-arms more and just flood the eco of Beasty from any direction, really.
And you, of course, can't do these keep drops when you're playing Mongols, right? As we see this keep likely going to get finished here. Looks like he didn't see it.
Oh, Manganwol's setting up here. Wally coming out.
Ooh.
Villagers getting wiped out underneath the castle. It's going to go up, but the price to pay is once again quite big. Beast is still stuck at 67 villagers only.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Building up some more towers there, it looks like. I don't know about gathering there right now. Maybe he wants to lose villagers. Maybe he wants the pop space.
I think he benefits from it. 118 villagers at this point. Floating 6,000 food. I think he can afford losing a couple of villagers over here, and he would benefit from some more military population, really.
Well, it's not like he's ever going to get a wonder. He'll never get the stone he needs for that.
Oh, Springolds will make it back home. He's trying to intercept them, though. He could get a couple of these killed. Nest of Bees not setting up here, making a run for the walls. Men-at-Arms kind of body blocking the villagers here. They will get a couple of kills, most importantly on the Nest of Bees.
Nest of Bees, yep. I think you got all the Nest of Bees. Yep.
Beautiful.
Is that a bombard? Yeah.
Yeah, Bombard now making an appearance. Villagers also swarming through walls. Remember, those bad boys have 100 HP.
Yeah,
they can tank a lot of
villagers.
damage. Look at that.
Oh, I love it.
They might be the most effective anti-siege that B has, while also simultaneously finally making a push through the middle, shelling the base of Beastyqt. Now getting rid of the Springolds. Beasty's down to 88 population. I just don't know what he can do at this point. Feels like the game is just too far gone.
Yep, we've got the villagers just going on in. They're great. They got siege damage. They're great counters for siege.
Oh, now they're torching down farms. You know the game's over when the enemy villagers are torching down farms. By the way, every single farm that's being burned down also gives resources for B.
And we've got the that gate. Was it the gatehouse? Is what that thing is called, right? I haven't seen it. Has it fired off yet? I guess it maybe hit those villagers.
Yeah, it fired like one volley out there, but obviously it's being taken down from a safe distance. Okay, there it is. First volley coming out here, but it ain't gonna do much against those Springolds. And with that, B is going to secure game number 1. A big fake out at the beginning made Beasty believe he might be going for a TC rush strategy again. Instead played a very passive and eco-focused game over here. Went to Imperial and just slowly ground down Beasty, really.
Yeah, I'm sure BC's not happy about those villagers they sent to the other side of the wall, but to be honest, even with those, he still was behind quite a bit in villagers. He even had some big pickups, like when he slaughtered all those villagers that B had going to gold. But maybe that fake out of the chop through was just enough to put that idea in Beastyqt's head.
Exactly, because Beasty was playing a 1 TC build here with Song Dynasty, so part of the reason why the eco escalation was much better for B is because B was playing 3 TCs and Beasty was only playing 1 plus Song Dynasty. So obviously the possible danger of a crazy strategy coming out here from B maybe made Beasty alter his game plan, and that could have affected the second half of this game especially. Nevertheless, B takes game number 1 here on Woodwall, and now we're going to head to game number 2 on one of Beastyqt's home maps in this best of 5.